How would you wear 11s in today's world?
Do I look fly?
Super fly.
Really? This is going to be one of the most popular releases, if not the most popular release of the year, and there's a million pairs of them. So in theory, it shouldn't be that hard to get, but it's still probably going to be pretty hard to get. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler, and today I'm reviewing the upcoming Air Jordan 11 Gratitude. It is finally here. After hours of waiting and checking the UPS app, it's finally here. We got it from GOAT. Of course, there's a lawnmower mowing right outside my house right when I want to unbox this, but that just is what it is. And apparently I don't have anything to cut it open with, so that's also great. Let's see, let's pop this open. There we go. So this box is pretty different than the standard Air Jordan 11 box. It's sort of a, I guess a lift top box. You've got this gold little, I guess, I don't know, ventilation hole, finger hole, pull tab. I don't know exactly what that is, but you got this gold accent right there. You got 23 in gold on the side of the box. You've got a Jumpman, a much smaller Jumpman than I actually expected on the top of the box, also in gold. And that's pretty much all she wrote. On the front of the box, you do have the size tag. I grabbed a size 9, which is my true size, and the official colorway of this shoe is white, metallic, gold, black. So without further ado, let's pop it open and see what these shoes look like in person. I've not seen these yet, even in resale stores or anything like that, so I'm very excited about this. I paid a lot of money on GOAT. On the inside of the box, you've got thank you written in that sort of 23 font, which is pretty cool. This is, of course, the Air Jordan 11 Gratitude, so I'll get to that a little bit later on in the video. You got the GOAT authentication thing, GOAT sticker. You've also got thank you in a bunch of different languages on the paper. I'm not mad at that. So it looks a lot like the Concords. The cut is almost identical to the, I guess all the recent Air Jordan 11s. Actually, I've got the Concords right here to kind of compare. Actually, mine are starting to look pretty similar because they're starting to yellow and oxidize in the outsole. They used to be sort of a nice semi-translucent blue, and now they're more of like a creamy color. Overall, at first glance, this definitely looks like a nice shoe. It looks a little bit more premium than a standard pair of 11s because of some of the material choices. But I'm gonna throw it on feet, see how it fits, and then we're gonna get into the review. So right off the bat, if you're a sneakerhead or you're a fan of the Air Jordan 11, you probably recognize this color blocking and silhouette. This shoe looks a lot like the Concord Air Jordan 11s, one of the most iconic sneakers of all time. It also looks a lot like the DMP Air Jordan 11s from 2006, but technically they are also different from the DMP 11s. It's a whole new thing, a whole new same looking sneaker that we've seen a million times before. That being said, it's still pretty dope. The Air Jordan 11 Gratitude releases on December 9th, 2023 as the holiday Air Jordan 11 release for a retail price of $230. And while at the time of filming this video, you can't grab this shoe for retail yet, although I'm sure Jordan Brand's gonna drop a couple pairs of these early on the sneakers app, you can grab pairs of these for resale at places like StockX, which I've made sure to leave affiliate links to in the top of the description below. But according to Kicks on Fire, there's supposed to be like a million pairs of this shoe releasing, which is kind of becoming standard for Air Jordan 11s, which also means that you should have an easier time grabbing these shoes. But as we all know, even with almost a million pairs available, it's still gonna be tough to grab the holiday release, especially when it looks like this, one of the most iconic Air Jordan 11 colorways. But again, it's not exactly a Concord, but it looks very similar. And actually, let's talk about that. So this shoe looks just like the Air Jordan 11 Concords and also just like the Air Jordan 11 DMPs. However, when you actually compare it to the Concord 11s, you start to notice some differences. And that's also the case when you compare it to the DMP 11s, but I don't have a pair of DMP 11s because they're like $800, and if you buy the pack, it's like $1,200, and I'm not spending that just to make a point. But they are also different from the DMP 11s. And for those of you that aren't familiar with what the DMP 11s are, DMP stands for Defining Moments Pack, which was a pack of 2 pairs of Air Jordan sneakers, the Air Jordan 11 and the Air Jordan 6s, that came in a black, gold, and white makeup to obviously commemorate some defining moments of Michael Jordan's career. And interestingly, in 2020, Jordan Brand decided to re-release the DMP 6s as a standalone release and not part of the pack. And so last year, when rumors started to swirl that we're getting a new pair of 11s that looks a lot like the DMP 11s, I think people assumed that it was going to be the DMP 11s because we'd already had the DMP 6s, and it would be kind of weird if Jordan Brand to release a shoe that looks very similar but isn't technically the same thing. But it seems like that's exactly what Jordan Brand decided to do, and instead of getting the DMP 11s, we're getting the Gratitude 11s, which are very similar, but not the same. So according to Jordan Brand, the story behind this release is that this shoe is sort of giving thanks or paying homage to the fans that made Michael Jordan an iconic superstar. In fact, both on the sneaker and on the box, as you already saw, there's hidden thank you text. And I guess in kind of a weird way, them releasing a million pairs of this shoe is kind of a thank you because it should make it easier for us to grab the shoe. However, it's really just us kind of thanking them because they're gonna make a bunch of money off this release if there is a million pairs, which I actually think there might be. So maybe that's not a great point, but still, this shoe is based on gratitude. And I'll be honest, even though initially I thought I would prefer the DMP 11s, even though I don't have the DMP 6s, I'm actually really happy with this release. It's not actually a retro of any previous Air Jordan 11 colorway, even though it looks very similar to some other Air Jordan 11 colorways, but it is a brand new release that feels a little bit more premium than the Concords or the DMPs. And that's all because of the materials used on this shoe. But we'll get more into that in a couple minutes. First, let's find out what people think of the Air Jordan 11 Gratitudes. Yo,
What's up?
what do you think of these?
Concourse?
Well, they're not technically Concords. They're Air Jordan 11 Gratitudes.
They kind of look like the DMPs because of the gold.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is the holiday release?
Yeah. Here's the box.
Because usually the holiday 11s come in a really nice box.
Yeah, like with a drawer and
with
like
a drawer and like the plastic. And then usually the shoehorns, they even put in like plastic, like nice shoehorns.
It didn't come with shoehorns this time.
But I do like these. I think if I have an opportunity to buy for retail, I will.
Josh, what do you think of these guys? They're not the Concords, not technically.
How would you wear 11s in today's world? That's the real question.
I've only seen people wear 11s to ball with.
Either wear with joggers. You can't wear them with jeans.
No, but yeah, I would definitely wear these.
Do you like them better than the regular Concords?
I don't know the difference.
It's the outsole is milky versus translucent blue, and then it's got gold, which is from the DMPs.
Well, the DMP has gold.
The DMP has gold, but it doesn't have the milky outsole. So this is the only one with these colors and the milky outsole.
Too small to, I'll take any of them.
I think I like the Concords better. I don't like the gold.
Do you guys like the leather on the upper of the shoe versus the mesh?
Oh, that's a difference too. No, I like the mesh, but this is cool. But you know what about the mesh? It always like, cause like these are like real weather resistant because of patent leather, but like if you always stain the mesh, you can't get it out. So like people would have like real clean and then they'd have like stains all over their mesh.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
this, you could probably clean pretty easily with our wipes.
I do think I like the icy outsole better.
This is the first shoe you,
That I said I would.
you always say no to every shoe you bring.
All right, well, this is great. This is the first.
I think it's the first time I said yes.
So now let's dive deeper into the materials that make up this shoe. And starting things off, on the toe of the sneaker, you've got your iconic Air Jordan 11 patent leather. In the case of this shoe, and I guess also the Concords and the DMP 11s, you've got this piano black patent leather that wraps all the way around the bottom half of the upper, and the glossiness really makes this shoe pop. Now, one downside to the patent leather used on Air Jordan 11s is that after a couple wears, or even one wear, it starts to really crease on the medial side of the toe. As you can see on my pair of Concord 11s from 2018, which I've worn probably 10 plus times, it's not that noticeable, especially on a black patent leather, but honestly, it is still kind of frustrating when you spend $230 on a pair of shoes and it creases almost immediately. But that's just the name of the game when it comes to 11s, and honestly, you probably already know what you're in for because most people have bought pairs of 11s in the past. At least most sneakerheads, not most people. However, even though the creasing does bother me because as soon as you lace it up, it's gonna crease, I do still like this material used on the shoe. The original reason for this material usage on this pair of 11s was to provide lateral support for Michael Jordan when he was actually playing basketball, and honestly, it also gives the shoe a very unique look. That's the reason that people wear Air Jordan 11s to prom or to weddings, because it kind of gives this shoe a more elevated and premium feel. It almost looks like a dress shoe because of the patent leather. And actually, the Air Jordan 11 Gratitudes might be one of the more dressy looking Air Jordan 11s because of the more elevated materials used on this version of the shoe. And moving up on the sneaker, you get to some of those materials. Covering up a majority of the upper of the shoe, you've got this tumbled white leather. Now, as you probably know, if you've owned pairs of 11s in the past, the material usually used on the top half of the upper of the shoe is ballistic mesh. However, on the Gratitude 11s, they switched out that mesh for tumbled leather, which I personally think looks more premium and actually looks a little nicer. Now, this isn't the first time we've had this material change on a pair of 11s, but it is the first time that we've had it on a pair of Air Jordan 11 Concords. I think it looks really nice on the shoe. And actually, not only did they switch out the mesh, but they also switched out the nylon straps that hold the laces in place, and instead of nylon, of course, you've got more leather. Now, it's actually kind of funny because it is possible, I don't know if this is the case, in fact, it could be completely wrong, but it is possible that the synthetic leather, most likely, that they used on the upper of the shoe could be cheaper for them than the mesh. I'm not sure. I could be totally wrong about that, but sometimes nicer meshes are more expensive than leather. In fact, in a lot of cases, there are other materials that are more expensive than leather that people don't use because they think that the leather feels more premium to the touch. In this case, this is pretty cheap leather would be my guess. I'd watch someone like Rose Anvil to find out exactly how nice this leather is, but in a lot of cases, Jordan brand sneakers, because they are mass-produced sneakers, use pretty crappy leather that is very cheap. So all that being said, I wouldn't put it past Jordan brand using leather because it's cheaper than the mesh. I don't know if that's the case. It probably isn't, but it's just something to keep in mind. There's a lot of times that brands use materials because of perception, not because it's actually a better material. Also, if I'm sweating, it's because the air conditioner in my house died today, so this sucks. This is brutal. But enough of getting sidetracked. Weaving through the eyelets, you've got these thick white rope laces, which actually aren't perfectly color matched with the leather. They're kind of more yellowish than the rest of the leather upper. It's fine, but this doesn't actually come with an extra set of laces in the box, so you can't switch them out. It's not a problem, it's not that noticeable, but they also don't come with an extra set of laces inside the box, which I would have liked for a $230 pair of shoes. Not that anyone usually switches out their laces on 11s. I mean, it happens, but not as much as other sneakers. Then underneath the laces on the tongue of the sneaker, Jordan brand once again switched out the mesh mesh for tumbled leather. It seems like it's the same tumbled leather used on the other parts of the upper of the shoe. And then across the tongue, you've got this patch that says Jumpman Jordan on it. And then of course you got your little gold Jumpman in the center. Continuing up farther on the shoe, you get to your black sock liner that sort of peers over the top of the ankle collar. And then on the back of the tongue, you've got this patch with that hidden thank you detail, which we saw on the inside of the box. And it's actually written in the same font as the Jumpman Jordan text on the middle of the tongue, which doesn't look like text at first. It actually looks like letters or gibberish or something like that. But when you look at it from the side, it says Jumpman Jordan. Same thing with the thank you. It's a cool detail, and it's kind of hidden. It's kind of not hidden. It's just on the back of the tongue. But because it's written in that font, it's a little bit harder to read. Continuing inside the sneaker, you've got a black insole with 23 printed on the heel in gold. But at this point, let's talk about sizing and fit.
So I'm gonna try these on, but I want to pick some socks first.
Let's
before I
each
try
pick
these
one,
on.
and then Josh will pick the winner, and then you'll try it on with that sock.
Okay. Are we going for the best match
No, the worst match.
or the coolest overall fit? Because you could pair something like wild with these, and it would be
I mean,
dope.
it doesn't have to. Yeah, whatever. What
Okay,
looks
cool.
good with it?
Happy birthday to Josh too. It's Josh's birthday.
This might be the gold, and then there's no blue. If this was the icy blue,
That'd be
that
fire.
would be a good
perfect.
one. I have an underdog in my hand. Probably gonna lose, but this is probably what
that's-
you're gonna pick
Oh wow.
because
Okay.
it's an underdog, and I'm not gonna win, but I think it would be cool with this.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, my pick,
Want me to hold it?
my first option.
Okay.
That's option number one,
It's
which
the
I
wrong
think.
way, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, is it really? Yeah, it doesn't matter. There we go. I think this is option number one. Option number two, I think, is this guy.
You would pick two tonal socks.
Well, because I'm thinking because of like the,
Yeah.
you know, the matching there.
All right, which one are you picking?
Let's pop them open and show
Well,
Josh. Here's option number one.
All right,
What you think?
not bad.
And then here's option number two, the superior option.
Oh,
That's
man.
true.
I like this. I kind of like how it complements the gold.
That's exactly what I was going for. And you can grab this sock right now on apothecary.com and the other sock. But if you're grabbing these 11s, I would go with these. I mean, I think everyone agrees. So, so just for all you guys wondering, my air conditioner is out. But I'm sweating like crazy. The only air conditioner I have is in the car. And this
Whoa,
place is not.
This is air conditioned.
It's not as well air conditioned as I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to try these guys on to give you guys my sizing and fit advice to let you guys know whether you should go true to size, up half a size, whatever. So I'm expecting these to fit like Concords is my guess. They look just like, the cut is the same as like the 2018 Concords and probably all of the recent 11s. So let's see, what do you think they're gonna fit like?
Like an 11.
Like, how do you wear your 11s? True to size or?
No, they're narrow, so I go a little up
Gotcha.
typically.
The winning socks on too. You guys can grab them right now at apothecary.com. Here we go. Okay. I would say true to size. Yeah, I'd say true to size.
Are
fit
they
just-
softer than like a normal 11? Because the midsole seems more squishy.
The insole, they do have like a really nice foam soft insole, which is
No,
nice.
the midsole I meant. I
The
don't know
midsole
what's-
does.
It seems
It does
softer.
kind of feel softer, actually. If it is softer, maybe not noticeably softer. Looks-wise, do you like the way that they look? Like, is this your favorite 11 colorway?
Yeah, probably. Well, like Concords.
Gotcha. I think the breads are my favorite, personally. Do I look fly?
Super fly.
Really?
Like
Could I
with
wear
the
these
pants?
with these pants?
Yeah, because it's like it's a sportier pant.
I don't think you can wear 11s with shorts, personally. That's my
If
thought.
you're playing basketball, you can.
Yeah, well, if you're playing basketball, yeah.
And you got to wear high socks.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't no lows with 11s.
But casually, I would say mid 11s or high 11s, you have to wear.
With pants, it's
pants.
I would say like sweatpants or
Oh,
like
true,
something like
true.
this.
If you guys are grabbing a pair of these for yourself, I would say go true to size or whatever your standard Air Jordan 11 size is. For Osman, he said that's half a size up.
11s are usually narrow, so my feet are wide, so I go up.
Continuing back in the sneaker towards the heel, you've got some white leather that is not tumbled. It's actually a different leather than used on the front half of the upper. And then on the lateral side of the sneaker, you've got that iconic Jumpman logo, this time not embroidered, sort of a plastic 3D Jumpman guy, comes in gold, and it's either stamped or pressed into the shoe. This is one of the details that led people to believe that this was a pair of DNP 11s, because the only pair of Concords that has a gold Jumpman are the DNP 11s. And then moving around to the back of the shoe, you get to another gold detail with a 23 on the top of the heel. And unlike most other pairs of 11s, it's not stitched or even printed. It's actually this sort of 3D press detail, similar to the Jumpman logo. It actually kind of feels like gold wires or copper wires almost sewn into the heel of the shoe. That's not what it is, but it kind of feels like that and looks like that. It's a very premium feeling hit, and I like it a lot, actually. In my opinion, it feels a lot nicer and it looks a lot nicer than the 45 on the 2018 Concords. It's just done in a more premium way, and I really dig that. Then moving down on the sneaker, you get that classic white Air Jordan 11 midsole, and on the medial side, you can see a little bit of the carbon fiber shank, and this time around, it comes in sort of a dull gold and black, which I really like, and it ties in with the rest of the sneaker really nicely. And then moving to the bottom of the sneaker, you get to another difference between the Concord 11s and the DMP 11s and the Gratitude 11s, and that's this milky outsole. Both the Concord 11s and the DMP 11s have a semi-translucent blue outsole, however, they do turn yellow over time, as you can see from my pair. But on the Gratitude 11s, they decided to give us pre-aged rubber. So there you go. I think it was just a design choice that tied in better with the gold, but still, it looks a lot like an oxidized outsole. But seriously, I do like this release a lot. I feel like it is an elevated pair of Concords. We actually haven't had a Concord release, at least not in the mid-top version, since 2018. So it's nice to get what is, I guess in a way, a retro of that shoe, even though it's not technically. Yes, this is a $230 pair of sneakers, which is a lot to pay for a pair of sneakers for sure, but I do feel like it's a slightly nicer version of 11s than what we usually get, and I'm into it. I really like this release a lot. I like the gold hits. I like sort of the callbacks to the DMP 11s without being a pair of DMP 11s. It's a dope overall release, and I would love to know your thoughts on this shoe in the comment section down below, so make sure to let me know, and also make sure to check out my TikTok if you haven't yet, at Real Seth Fowler. I'd love to see you guys over there. With all that being said, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.